Hi friends, this is Miss Jennifer from the Dearborn Heights City Libraries. I'm here to introduce a brand new YouTube series called What Can My Kids Get Right Now? We know that many of you want your kids to stay engaged with literacy, but with the schools closed and the libraries being closed, that can be a real challenge. Your kids may have already read everything at home and you're looking for their next read. You may also be running into holds lists and wait times on other platforms and wondering what your kids can read now rather than 2 weeks from now. And so this new YouTube series has been created. It will be full of recommendations from your friendly neighborhood youth and teen librarians, Mr. Jim and Miss Jennifer, that your kids can access right away with no wait times, absolutely for free. But first, we're going to explore the databases that we'll use in this series so that you'll be a little bit more familiar with them. So our next important question is, how do we find the databases that we're talking about? So you can go to the library's website, which is dhcl.michlibrary.org, and click on the Electronic Resources tab right there at the top. That's going to bring you to our Hoopla and Tumblebooks, Overdrive, Mango Languages, and more. Here are our two databases that we will be using in this series. Hoopla on the left and Tumblebooks on the right. Hoopla is a brand new database for our libraries, while Tumblebooks is a beloved classic for us. The best thing about both of these databases are that they are both absolutely 100% completely free to use with your library card. You do have a library card, right? You renewed it 2 months ago. You know exactly where it is. You know your number by heart. And it's one of our newer ones, right? Not one of the blue cards from 10-ish years ago. If not, no worries. I have great news. You can still get a library card even if we're closed in order to use these free databases, and I will let you know how. So as you know, even though our Caroline Kennedy Library and our John F. Kennedy Jr. Library are physically closed due to coronavirus, our electronic resources allowing access to movies, ebooks, e-audiobooks, and more are always available, but you do have to have a library card to access those. So if you're a Dearborn Heights resident without a card, the good news is that you can apply for one online. We are giving temporary digital library cards so that anyone that didn't get a library card before our doors closed physically can still access all of our online materials. All you have to do is send us an email at dhrreference@gmail.com with your name, your address, and your telephone number, and we can get you started with one of those temporary digital cards. Just in case you want to email us for a card without searching through this video again, I'll put our email in the description. That email is also on our website and on our Facebook page. I also want to point out, if you have one of those old blue library cards, or if you've moved into Dearborn Heights recently and you haven't had a chance to update your library card yet, it will not work for Hoopla. Make sure your library card number starts with 29007. If it doesn't start with 29007, it will not work for Hoopla. With us. If you have a library card that does start with 29007 and for some reason it isn't working, please send us an email and we'll figure out what's going on. We want to make sure everyone has access to library services, including these wonderful databases, even if our buildings are closed. Meet Hoopla. I'll get into more details of Hoopla in just a moment, but this is what it looks like. Hoopla is very easy to use. It's pretty similar to Netflix or Hulu if you've ever used those services. You'll create an account, which again is a pretty easy process, and this way you don't have to have your library card number each time you use Hoopla. You'll only need to remember your login information, just like you would like an email address or something similar to that. There is one problem we have been having with Hoopla, and it's really strange. Sometimes if you put in our zip code or if you search using like a location finder feature, it won't see us. That's because it thinks we are the Library Network, which is our wonderful consortium that's located out of Novi. So if you go ahead and type in Dearborn Heights Library, it will find us that way, but it may not find us by zip code. We're working on that, but it's just one of those quirky rollout features that we're dealing with. So a little bit more about Hoopla. Who is Hoopla for? What can I expect to find? So Hoopla is for all ages. It has content for kids, teens, and adults. Hoopla has movies, TV shows, audiobooks, music, graphic novels. The best part of Hoopla is that there are no waiting lists, so anything that you see on Hoopla can be checked out immediately. You don't have to worry about being in queue for that. There is a limit per card of 15 checkouts per month, so once your month is over, it'll roll over and allow 15 new checkouts. This is some of Hoopla's features, and it has a lot of great ones, but I'm just going to highlight two. One of them is that Hoopla allows you to mark items as favorites. So it does a few things. Firstly, the more items you mark as favorites, it'll do curated lists. So similar to Netflix or Hulu, it's going to get a better idea of the things that you like, and it'll have better recommendations for you. It also keeps track of your favorite series, favorite authors, favorite artists. So if someone releases new material or say new episodes from a series that you follow become available, it will let you know about that. It's also a way, if you have hit that 15 item limit already and you want to remember that as soon as your next times to check out come up, you want to borrow something, it's going to allow you to favorite that so that you can go right back to that material and borrow it whenever you're ready. The other really interesting thing about Hoopla is that it has a kids mode. So it's a kid-friendly setting to help weed out things that might be best for your child, that may be a better fit for them and maybe not as much geared towards adults. So particularly if you're setting this up on your child's device, you can make sure your child's library card has that Hoopla feature in kids mode, and it's just a little bit easier to make sure that the things that they're seeing is appropriate for what you want them to be seeing. What devices can Hoopla be used on? So Hoopla is actually really versatile. You can use it on desktop and laptop computers. You can use it on your cell phone, on tablets and Chromebooks, Fire TV, Roku, Chromecast. So one of the best parts, I think, of Hoopla is, especially if you're using it for TV and movies, you can put it on your smart TV and watch it. You don't have to watch it on a tiny tablet or a small laptop. You can put it right on the living room TV at home, and the whole family can watch films. So it's a really versatile. If you have any kind of smart TV or a Roku or a Fire Stick, it's going to work on those devices, which is a huge plus. Our final database is Tumblebooks, which you may have heard Mr. Jim and I speaking about because we are both very big fans of this database. Tumblebooks is wonderful, especially for pre-K through 6 readers, but let's explore it a little more so you get a better idea of Tumblebooks. Tumblebooks is best for elementary students, pre-K through 6. It features read-alongs, picture books, graphic novels, and chapter books for older readers. There's no waiting lists on Tumblebooks. All items can be used immediately. And unlike Hoopla, there's no limit on how many materials you use on Tumblebooks. So you can read one book, you can read 100 books, you can have all of the kids reading together all at once, and there's never an item limit on how many things you use on the Tumblebooks database. Tumblebooks has two of my absolute favorite features across any of our databases. And the first one is playlists. And I know that's on the right of our screen, but I'm going to go with that one first just because it's a little bit funny, I think. One of the ways you can search this is how long a story takes. So you can see from the slide under 10 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. And I tend to think this is a really great feature for reluctant readers, that it's more like pulling teeth getting them to read than we really want to admit. I've had a few reluctant readers in my life. So saying that, this is going to take you less than 20 minutes can sometimes be a selling feature for those reluctant readers. It can also be what I call a great dinner time tool. When you know that you need 20 to 30 minutes to throw dinner time or a snack together. And this is a really constructive way to keep the kids occupied that maybe isn't watching SpongeBob for the 11 millionth time. Even though I know my kids would love that, it's really a great way to concentrate them for a specific amount of time on reading. And I'm going to loop back to that other one, which is read-alongs. This is one of my absolute favorite tools. Read-alongs, what they will do is you select the book, they will bring the story up, it will show the words, and it will read to your child. But better than just listening to an audiobook, it will highlight the letters and the words as it goes along. So you can encourage your child to read along with it. And this is a great tool for building those early reading skills. It also really helps those that are struggling with reading. Maybe they're getting a little bit behind at school. This is a way to give them an independent time. They can sit with a tablet or they can sit on the computer and be reading, but you also know that they're getting that reading comprehension because it's helping them and highlighting those words as it goes along. As a youth librarian, this is one of the biggest things that I recommend to parents of struggling readers, to parents of beginning readers, and to parents of readers that really want to push themselves, but you're worried that maybe their vocabulary isn't quite where it should be. This is a tool for almost every reader, pre-K through 6, that really allows them to explore reading and make sure that that comprehension is reinforced at the same time. Tumblebooks works on desktops, laptops, Chromebooks, cell phones. It also works on tablets and even kids' tablets if the internet is enabled. One of the great things about Tumblebooks is that it does not require you to download an app to access it online. So one of my personal things that I have done is, as a mom, my kids love going on the computer and they love going on tablets and they love playing games. One of the things I have done is, if you want tablet time, part of that needs to be on Tumblebooks. And Tumblebooks has a lot of great other features that I encourage you to poke around with. But this is one way in my house that we've been able to turn tablet time into something positive and educational while the kids still feel excited about winning against mom and being able to go on their tablet. This is our last slide in this video, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that was able to hold on. I know it was very dry, but we wanted to make sure that everyone had a good idea of the databases that we were working with. So once those recommended items started coming up, you would be totally confident and already signed in and ready to go. So some of the things we have coming up in this series are some awesome comic books to read on Hoopla as recommended by Mr. Jim, early chapter books and advanced chapter books on Hoopla, and great read aloud stories on Tumblebooks. So those videos should be coming in the next few weeks and give you some new great ideas about things that your kids can read right now. I encourage you to stay connected with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube for not just this series, but for our stories series, some of our wonderful puppet shows, awesome arts and crafts, and more. We miss you. Stay safe.